Hello everyone. Welcome to Wrapped in Love, the workshop. Here, we will actively work to improve the characteristics of love in our lives. Why? Because that's how you bring health to your relationships. Relationships you struggle with. You're helping out and you want better for the person. If you're not dealing in love, there's no possible way it could get better. So again, welcome to Wrapped in Love, the workshop. Now, love is not something that you can put on at the right time. You know, if you're caught in a situation and love isn't already on you, what's coming from you is something that's about to hurt a person. If love isn't already on you, destruction will come from your hands. And the sad part is you're going to hurt a person and then say they are the reason why you hurt them. You know, we try to justify our wrong first, always put it on the other person. We don't say you're hurt because I did not think love first at that moment. You know, we're not going to tell somebody the reason why destruction comes from my hand is because I'm in a situation where I'm being unloving. No, we say because you did this to me, this is the reason why I did that to you, right? So to reduce the amount of hurt we can cause to another person, we must be wrapped in love. You know, hurt people. Well, love people do what? You're right. They love people. And when we're wrapped in love, we have experienced God in a way that we want others to experience him too. We're in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 7. So first up, patience. And if we're wrapped in patience, then patience will come from us. So that means it's imperative that we understand what patience is. So to open us up, here's something to think about. What is patience? When you think about it, what comes to mind for you? Some may say it is the capacity to wait. Well, I want to offer a working definition for us. That patience is not just simply waiting. Patience is not being anxious while you wait. Whatever the level of anxiety you may experience can impact how impatient you become. For example, you may be in a relationship with your spouse, relationships with a coworker. You may be dealing with a mom or just somebody that's kind of difficult to love. And they have these quirks about them. And you're really looking for changed behavior. And you want them to improve and you feel like that you're talking to them enough, but for whatever reason, you all interacting with each other, it just rubs you the wrong way. And for them to change and improve, it seems like nothing is happening. And every time you come to this crossroad with this person, the same problem surfaces. So to love properly, you have to be patient with them. Now this person, when they begin to make changes, or when they make that change you want them to make, how would you know? Like, how would you know that they've changed? Well, you probably got to wait till a situation presents itself that gives an opportunity for them to show a new behavior. And only then, once they handle it correctly, will you know for sure that they've changed. You wouldn't know that they're doing work on themselves the moment they begin to think differently, download some new information, maybe read a book, or God moves in their lives in a way. You wouldn't know when they're doing that internal personal work that they're changing. So you have to wait until the situation arises for this person that's hard to love to demonstrate improved behavior. Now, if you let anxiety take over, you will become impatient. Anxiety is like feelings of frustration, disappointment, hurt. These strong emotions will lead you to wanting change and wanting it now. You want them to change yesterday. Why? Because you hurt me and you continue to hurt me. I'm disappointed. And whatever it is you're doing really frustrates me. You know, in those moments, it's not much room for patience, which means then it's not much room for love. So you may ask this question, like, am I supposed to just let people handle me badly, not say anything about it? Am I supposed to be a person that goes along with it and just let them do whatever they want to do? Well, I would offer first, yes, you should be able to have safe conversations with people. And if you're going to address an issue, you should be able to do it in a very helpful and loving way. And I would also say, yes, God calls us to love people and help people. So a part of our roles in people's lives is to help them improve. But the point that we're discussing is having an awareness of your own emotions so that you can allow God to do his work in this person to improve the relationships you all are in. So here's a personal example. Lottie and I, Lottie's my wife, we went through a rough patch a couple years ago. And no matter what we did, we just couldn't get on the same page when we communicated. We just argued and argued over the smallest things. I mean, like real pointless arguments. Now, I had a theory of what I thought the problem was, but I didn't want to tell her that. It's some things you just have to keep between you and God. I just said, Lord, will you show her what the problem is? And lo and behold, God really did. Showed up in a mighty way. But he showed me my problem first. Because that's how God works. Get the plank out your own eye before you remove the speck out of someone else. But for Lottie, God showed up months later after I prayed this prayer. She went through this training at work. And on this day, Lottie walks out of the office and says, hey, babe, you know what? I just realized I'm not a great communicator. Now, this is what I knew. And not to talk bad about her, but just upbringing and the way we dialogue one to another, I felt in my heart that could be an improvement for her, is communication skills. And in this training, it was 10 things that you shouldn't do in communicating. She had 8 of them. I almost fell out my seat when she said that she wasn't a great communicator. I couldn't believe it. I'm looking around the room like, God, you are really here. God said he'll never leave you. And you are very present in my life right now. But seriously, it was months later after I prayed that prayer. And look, over those months, we didn't stop arguing. And what I came to understand, that time between those months when I first asked God to show her and when he revealed it, that the arguments we had were really for me. He didn't change her at the speed I wanted to because God needed to fix something in me first. So he kept allowing the run-ins until I allowed her space and opportunity to grow and develop at his speed. People are going to hurt you. They're going to frustrate you. They're going to disappoint. But he tells us to love them first. And the first part of love is that you must develop patience. And patience is not simply waiting. It's not being anxious while you wait. So how do I deal with my anxieties and the things that causes me to be anxious? Well, God left us an instruction. Philippians chapter 4 verse 6. And this is the NIV version. The Bible says, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. The Bible says, don't be anxious about anything, which means then that there's a possibility that we can grow and operate as a person beyond our anxieties. That even though we feel certain emotions and feelings, and they may be strong, he says, don't be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition. And he tells us how to pray. or what mindset we should pray in, and that's praying with thanksgiving. That we need to be thankful first for the people God puts in our lives. Because when we're operating with His love, we learn that He has to develop us in a certain way. And the people He put in our lives are there to assist in that development. So if it's a person that you're having problems with in a relationship, that you're struggling with, the first mindset is, when I go to God about this person, let me find thanksgiving in my heart. Let me first go to God and say, hey God, thank you. Because I know through this relationship, you're teaching me to be more like you. That I know that loving people is not always easy. Because I know me, myself, as a sinner, it's not easy to love. I have many offenses against you. And I know that I'm not a perfect man. So first, Lord, thank you for placing a situation in my life that helps me to learn how to love more like you love. And so I want to pray not only for this person, but also pray for myself, that I grow and that I develop into the one who has enough patience to allow you to do the work on the person I'm asking you about. Patience is not simply waiting. Patience is having the control over your anxieties while you wait. So our application and the way we begin to workshop this aspect of love in our lives is simple. It's that you ought to pray with thanksgiving in your heart. That the anxieties that you feel with this difficult relationship you are dealing with, that you come before the Lord with thanksgiving in your heart. Patience. We are wrapped in love. This is the workshop. The reason we are in the workshop is because there are two phases to developing and growing in your relationship. Growing in love, really. First, it's a downloading of information. It's the purpose of spoken word pieces. It's to get into us a way to begin to think about love on a more consistent basis. A way for us to be able to reflect on certain aspects and see what comes up for us on how I deal with this aspect. So you have to download the information, get it in you. And once it's in, you have to then begin to workshop that into your life. It has to become alive, and it has to breathe, and it has to come forth from you. So first we have the downloading, and then we have the workshop. And that's what we're in right now. Practical ways in which we introduce more of love in our lives. Some of these may be difficult for you to deal with. Some of them may be easy. We're all different. We all are trained and developed in different ways and different times in our lives. But if it's challenging for you, good. Growth is challenging. You don't grow unless there is a challenge in front of you. So it's good if it's something that you're struggling with. It's good to know that God is with you, and this is what His will is for your life. It's to love those that He sent to you on a consistent basis. You are a child of God, and if you don't love people the right way, would you say today is a waste? Right? If we don't get out here and treat the people the way God would want us to treat them in our Christian walk, the way He looks at us, will we say we wasted the day? Yes, we would. So this motivation, what we're doing here inside of Growth Spurt, this motivation is to spur you on to love.